Good morning. It's Saturday. Saturday is always a good day. Every day is a good day. Every day, right? Hmm. Can I see if I'm up and live? And I am. There I am on YouTube. And I hope everybody's having a really, really good day so far. So I am enjoying my Lyman equipment, and today I will be enjoying these new Lyman stainless steel pro dies. This was my first run at this. Um, so I had a pretty busy week. We got Bravo Delta. Good morning, brother. It's good to see you. So I didn't get any reloading done this week. I was pretty busy. Got a lot of other good things done though. Reloader 762 is in the house. Ronnie, it's always good to see you, brother. So I didn't get any reloading done this week, and I was wanting to do play with these dies, and so here I am. I'm gonna just get them all set up, and I'm thinking that later today we have a BSU game at 2, but I'm thinking sometime after the game I'm going to redo this exact live stream. What my plan was originally is that I was going to do some loading with these dies and then do a live stream. Well, it didn't happen, so we'll do it now, and then later today we'll do it again. So good morning, everybody. It's good to have you on. We got 6 on, so that's cool. Mm, very good coffee. So first off, um, first off, I have to wake up. I got up like at probably 10 to 5. I've been up a little over an hour now. So kind of get the fog out of my head here. Um, okay, so the Lyman shell holder set. Now, there are no links in the description box below. Too early, didn't want to set them up. But I'll put them in there later, and then tonight's live stream will certainly have the links in there. Okay. And for 223 Remington, we need a Lyman number 26 shell holder. Isn't that interesting? You say, well, why would that be interesting? Because that's how many grains I use for tack in my 223 Remington. So that makes it easy to remember. So, all right, get my shell holder in place. So, while we're waiting for everybody to kind of pile on, so um, this Wednesday will be Wednesday evening. I'll have a Bible study, and Thursday will be my new live stream format. So be watching for those. It's going to be a really pretty cool format, I think. A little more involved, and so I hope to see you there on Thursday. So, okay, let's get these dies opened up here. So I opened them in the previous live stream. You guys saw the opening of them, but and I took them out, but I haven't done anything with them. That's the stainless steel Pro Series dies, and these are really they're above Cadillac knife. They're addictive dies. They really are. They're sweet. These will last you the rest of your life. We got Paul Merrick in the house, brother. It's always good to see Paul. It's good to see him. So I'm not going to clean these up after the live stream. I'll probably turn them down and clean them up, but we're just gonna get them all set up. But you should clean your dies. And I'm going to do one thing. Man, these are ultra nice. So, okay. I was getting ready to say, I take it back, I'm going to clean these. Here's why you should clean your dies. One, on a steel die, you don't want to scratch the die. That's a bad thing. You want to keep the dies clean. So on new dies, in case there's anything left over from the machining process, you want to get that out of there. You don't want to run a case up into there and embed it into the die. The other reason you want to clean them is because you don't want to ruin the brass you're running through there. Well, the reason I wasn't concerned with cleaning these is the brass I'm using. I always use stuff that in my videos that when I'm done, I'm usually done with it. Or I pull the bolt and start over if it's okay. But the other reason I wanted to clean these is I don't want to damage these, but these have carbide inserts. This is awesome. I don't have to clean this. I can't hurt this die. If I took that carbide ring out and I tried to run it on a grinder, this carbide ring would kill the grinder. You can't hurt it. So I really don't have to clean these dies. And to be honest with you, what I was getting ready to say just another, few minutes ago is every set of dies I've gotten from Lyman, I've cleaned, but they're just, man, it's just perfect. I mean, they do a pristine job. These dies are just like they're pretty much ready to roll. So I would recommend cleaning them, but I'm not going to do that because taking time for the video. But these are just above dies. I mean, it's a super nice die. Probably can't see too well into there. Probably can't see much, but as you can see, it's got the carbide ring in there. These dies really are as good as they can get. Right on, Ronnie. Very cool. Very cool. So I want to say something about die manufacturing. There's a lot of comments going around social media. People are really upset with the reloading equipment manufacturers because they don't have dies. Okay. They're upset. They say, I bought your reloading press. You have no dies. Where's my die? It's been a year. Where's my die? And I know this because I see it. Okay. Well, here's the deal. I'm 99% sure that Lyman, whoever it is that made your reloading press, when your dies are made, they don't manufacture the carbide inserts. I'm pretty certain, I think, I could be wrong. I think there's maybe one or two places in the United States that make the carbide inserts. And they send those to the reloading equipment manufacturer. So if they don't have those, they can't make the dies. That is a very specialized thing to be machining here, okay? So don't take it out on your reloading equipment manufacturers. There's, hey, I get a lot of guys and they come to me and they're upset, and I say, don't you think they'd like to sell you the dies? Don't you think that if Lyman had the dies, they would really like to sell them to you? They don't, and their hands are literally tied. So have some grace, right? Have some grace for companies. It's a very, very struggling time for the United States of America and worldwide. So, so this resize and decap, it's really cool. It's really cool. Inside, okay, that's the top cap. This thing is massive. That's your decap pin, okay, and you can order replacements. I've never broke one, okay. Then it has that spring, and that spring, it acts like a popper for your primer. So instead of pushing the primer out, it just pops it out of there, clears the primer pocket, right? So we got Del Pogue in the house. So so these dies, I'll tell you what these dies are made for. These are made for very high volume manufacturing processes, or someone who loads a whole bunch of ammo. These are for big high volume machine setups, progressive setups, okay? But they're super nice right here. So just take my word for it. Okay, so I'm gonna, okay, so to set this up, I'm gonna mess around with this for just a second. We got Del Pogue in the house. It's really good to see you. Um, when you're drinking your coffee at your bench, make sure you keep it away from any place where powder can get dropped into it. Okay. Um, so now I'm going to experiment with this. I'm going to show you how Lyman instructs to set this die up. And this is going to be the most part of this. Rep Tyree, good morning, brother. Brother. Good to see you. This is going to be the most of the live stream that this is the instructional, okay? Um, so Lyman says you're going to run the shell holder all the way up. And now you're going to thread this down, the resize until you touch. And then you're going to back it off until you could put like a matchbook in between it, okay? And they're doing this to protect that carbide ring, okay? There's a couple things you need to know about that carbide ring. One, okay, it's harder. It's harder than steel. Think of carbide as one, it's harder, but two, it's smoother. If if you want to understand about the smoothness of the carbide, think of a rock that's been in a stream for decades and decades and decades. It's smooth. The water's smoothed it over. So that's a pretty slippery rock compared to one that hasn't been in there long, and you step on it and you can get a solid footing on it, okay? So the idea behind carbide is that you don't have to lube. No, that is totally incorrect. Carbide pistol, you don't have to. But where you have full length sizing with a carbide, you still need to lube. So on this die, we're still going to lube them. Then what's the advantage then to a full length carbide sizer if I have to lube? Well, it's simple. These dies are made for high volume. A steel die, well, think about it. Think about this. A steel die, you have the chance of damaging brass. If you're running a fully automated progressive setup and it's just sitting there going, and you get something up in that die, you're going to sit there and run how many rounds through that, damaging case after case after case after case, and you just lost that product. right? So carbide, okay, and you just ruined your die. Ta-da, right? Carbide is slick. You still have to lube. One of the things about lubing is if you get something on a piece of brass, the lube tends to slip that off the brass. Okay, so your carbide protects the die and your product, but it does one other thing: super high volume on a steel die. I don't know, 70 or 80,000 rounds that die could be done. A carbide die, hundreds of thousands upon thousands upon thousands. So now they can take this die and they can run it. But the drawback, or the negative side, if you will, it's harder, it's smoother, but it's more brittle. So if we put cam over on that, we could most definitely crack it. But here's the other thing. Those carbide inserts are glued into there. So you could also loosen one if you have cam over on there, all right? And this is just my knowledge of what I've heard in the industry and what I've read. So this isn't my experience or my professional side. Take what you want, leave what you don't, okay? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure I'm right. So Lyman says we're going to run this die down and then back it off to where you have enough room for a matchbook, okay? So now this is what we've got to do. I'm still going to, these cases I have decapped them, and I just dry tumbled them for a period, so I still need to be aware of how clean these are. Always be aware of that. So now what I'm going to do is make sure your case gauge, this is my L.E. Wilson case gauge, make sure that it's clean. And now I'm going to take a measurement off of this. And this is 9 thousandths above a Sammy Mint, okay? So what I'm going to do with that case, with that resized die positioned right where it's at, I'm going to go ahead and run this case through that die. And I'm going to see how much this case size is back. So now I'm going to take a measurement. I can already tell you. We're right about 0. We got Jay Miller in the house. The incredible tactical FUD. Good to see you guys. Good morning. So where this die is at, it's sizing right to a Sammy Mint. I want to try something. That's pretty doggone good. I want to try something. I just want to kind of, okay, right there I'm touching. But I'm just going to back it off just to slide it. Okay. Ooh, how much are those CCI small pistol primers, Rip? How much are they? that's a good price. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take another measurement off this, and I want to kind of make a comment about those primers. We're looking good. We're just right there. We're just right there, okay? So, very nice. Very nice. Um, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to, literally, I'm going to hold this die, and I'm going to tighten it down right there. Now I don't have my wrench. I'm not going to go get it, but that's where we would tighten that lock ring down. So we have our die set up. Very, very nicely done. I really like that die. There's one thing you got to know though about your die. Um, where we're coming in and we're not quite touching the shell holder, sometimes when you're sizing your case, um, it tends to squeeze the case. It tends to size the sides of the case before the shoulder. So if you're coming in and you're just trying to minimally set that up, you could see your case growing in your case gauge. If your case is growing, you need to just literally bump this down a little bit and keep sizing until you get the size, and it won't take much. Okay, so there we go. So I want to do a couple of these. I want to talk about pistol primers. So I got to tell you guys, I got to tell you this. Let me get some more coffee, if you don't mind. So over the last week and a half, I have scored, I think it's 4,600 primers total score. No. Yeah, 4,600 primers. Um, for 1,000 of them I paid. No, it was 56. Out of 5,600 primers that I scored on, 1,000 of those I paid too much for. Okay, but I really wanted them. CCI 41s. I wanted those. Got a whole 1,000 of those. Okay. So the other 4,600 primers, Miss Highboy and I started getting them every day, 2 sleeves a day at Sportsman's Warehouse, and they were $5.99 a sleeve. Every day we'd go over there, she'd get 2, I'd get 2. Every day. We just go get our 2, and no one was buying them. It's like her and me were the only ones. And I've kind of noticed something. You know how the early bird gets the worm? Well, I have a friend. His name is Ron, and he's an awesome guy. He's an older guy. Every time I go, I let him know they've got primers, and he would get in his truck, him and his wife, and they're older. They would drive and they'd both buy their primers, and he didn't care. He's kind of like my wife and me. 2 sleeves is 2 sleeves. You buy 2 sleeves every day. Guess what? They are additive. They add up, right? So every day, Miss Highboy and I were going, and they were going, and guess what? We got so 2,600 primers. Something I forget. It's a lot of primers, right? They added up, and I've noticed that there's kind of this thing with the reloaders. It's like 2 sleeves isn't worth my time. Oh. So what they're doing is they're going out and buying them 1,000 at a time for $100+ because they don't want to just keep going back and forth every day, right? So for my job, I traveled out of town this week, and I made sure My supervisor is awesome. We hit a lot of gun shops. He really had a good time, and I got 2,000 large pistol primers. Uh, $80 a sleeve, or $80 a brick. I bought 2 bricks. They let me have 2. They were really nice. They said, "We'll let you have 2." And so, at the CCI, and I bought them. I have not seen large pistol primers under $100 since just a little after COVID. And so, what's the moral of the story? Primers are not going to get any cheaper for quite a while. Okay? All the indicators that we're getting, if you can get them for 70 or $80, you might want to pick them up because, well, they got the Gen X primers here for now $13.99 100. That's $140 for a brick of Gen X primers. Hey, I'll take the $80 a brick all day long. So that $89 with shipping and hazmat, I don't know what it's coming out to, but you know. So the moral of the story is just keep turning every stone over, you know. And if you got to buy it a sleeve or two at a time, every time you go by that store, you know, if you're gonna drive, you got to drive 10 miles every day. Now that's a lot of fuel. That really drives the price of your primers up. But if you're gonna pass by there, stop in and see what they got, right? So the next die. Okay, so I want to. Okay, I want to. So when I'm setting my resize die up, and I'm sizing and looking at my cases initially, I will check the first few cases before and after to see what that die is really doing. So this case is 6 thousandths above a Sammy Min, so I'm going to go ahead and size it, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, it didn't budge this case. This other case, it bumped it the best I can guess, maybe a thousandths under to a thousandths over Sammy. This one, it didn't phase it. Okay, so what I need to do, I want to look at something. Oh, you're awesome, brother. I gotta look at something. Give me just a minute to read this instruction. Hey, get a cup of coffee. Get a cup of hot tea. Green tea. Green tea's huge, huge in fighting cancer. Huge. Ooh. Adjusting carbide sizing dies. Cycle the press until the shell plate or shell holders are at full travel and closer to the die station. Turn the die into the press until its bottom edge makes contact with the shell plate or shell holder. Then back the die off about the thickness of a matchbook cover. For pistol dies, you can now tighten the die lock ring and your die is ready. For bottleneck rifle cases, we strongly suggest the use of a headspace gauge, which we're doing, to confirm that the headspace of the case is correct. The die may be needed to be adjusted up or down slightly to correct headspace. Do not turn your die to contact the top of the shell plate or shell holder. Carbide is an extremely hard material which shatters easily if forced against a hard surface. Pro dies are equipped with a spring-loaded decapping rod. Okay, so I'm correct. I'm correct on this. So what I've got to do is I've got to come down a little more with that die. Running with scissors, brother. Just like that. Now let's see where I'm at. Now I felt a little cam over there. There we go. And we're just right there. That's perfect. So you want to just work that die down, but you don't want cam over coming off that shell holder because you can break that carbide ring. So now what I'm going to do is we have two cases sized. Now let's size another one, okay? What you're verifying is that you are going to have multiple cases that you're sizing that are successful, okay? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. That one. Isn't that nice? That's like a, right there, right? So here we go. We have 4 in a row that size down just to where we need it, okay? So the one thing you want to put in your mind is um, numbers never lie, okay? Numbers don't lie. And the more data you have, the more your numbers are proven, okay? So when I set a die up, I'm just not going to take one case and verify it's good because cases have different spring back, right? So I'm going to do a verification of multiples to make sure all those cases are going to be right where they're at. Um, so you can do that to every single case that you're working on if you would like. I don't. What I would do now is I would just run your cases, and then when you're done, you can take, and literally at that point, you could run all of them uh, just into your case gauge like that. You could do that. Or just pick random ones. If you have, let's say, you do a brick or a block of 50 of these, so the first four you know is good, then you're going to sit there and you're going to size a bunch. Then you could sit there randomly check, a random check. That's not a bad thing. On a progressive machine, that's a little harder to do because that's real time and you don't want to interrupt the process. So that's why when we set this up, we do multiples because you don't want to interrupt your process. Okay. The nice thing about loading on a turret press is we can go in batch form, meaning there we go. That's a batch. I have 50 cases, so I can do these in a batch setup. Okay. So um, I was gonna say something. I had a guy come over this Monday night. Really nice guy. He needed help loading for a handgun. So I told him, I said, let me help you set your dies up. So, and I loaned him some dies. He's a really dependable guy. So I helped him set his dies up, and on his seat die, initially I set it up incorrectly. Now, guys, I set a lot of dies up. I do. I can do this stuff in my sleep. But we were talking, had like multiple topics going on at once, and running dice. I was talking about differences, and I set that die up not with no consideration of the crimp feature on it, and then I realized it. Okay. Um, okay. So what? We make mistakes, but where you want to make a mistake is setting your dies up. Okay. Where do you not want to make a mistake? You don't want to make a mistake by only verifying one of these fit. That's very dangerous because you could load up 100 of these and find that most of them don't fit in your rifle. That costed you a lot of time and money, effort, right? And it really, really shoots you down. It's a total bummer, right? Um, and then the other mistake you don't want to do is throwing a squib round or a double charge. And we know we can't double charge a rifle cartridge case, but you sure can a pistol, right? So we always do things the same. So here you go. Write this on your mirror, piece of paper, tape it somewhere. Numbers never lie, and have a good set procedure that you always do the same. What gets us into trouble is this squib load. What gets us into trouble is a double charge. What gets us into trouble is the wrong powder. So we always only keep one powder on the bench, right? So when we're done and we put the powder back in, we put it in the wrong jug. On my channel and my forum, and because I know so many awesome viewers, my most recent one was a guy, oh my gosh, texted me late at night and he was all upset and he took a pistol powder and was putting it back into the jug and got about a quarter of the hopper in there and he stopped and realized he's putting his pistol powder into his rifle powder, and it was an 8-pound jug, and he was freaking out. Okay, so the census was okay. The census from all his buddies was mix it really good, because they said you put a quarter of your hopper in there. He said, well, a quarter of what was left in my hopper. Well, how much would that be? So the census of everybody was to shake that jug up really good every time you use it. That's what everyone told him. And I said, you can't do that. That jug just turned into a really expensive lawn fertilizer for you. You can't use that because those granules are different than the extruded powder or whatever other powders you're mixing with, and they're going to settle in a different way. And eventually, as you get down into this concoction you made up, something's going to go astray sooner or later, and you're not going to know when. I told him, if I were you, I would dump it and use this as a very good learning experience, because he had two powders on the bench. It happens a lot. At least 2 times a year, someone tells me they do that. And I always go back to when my channel started in 2013. What in 2013, why would I come out of the gate saying only one powder on your bench? Well, I've been loading for, oh my gosh, 46 years now. And guess what? My dad taught me really young. My dad said, when I have 5 kids I'm raising and I'm losing my mind, he said, the last thing I want to do is put one powder from one jug into the other, because you kids are driving me nuts. So don't ever have more than one powder on your bench, because your kids are going to drive you nuts. Now, that's the story my dad told me. So growing up, I never forgot that. And I've held to those standards, and I've never had this issue. So this guy, he says, well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try it. I'm going to try it. So I made a phone call to a really good friend of mine who has been in the powder business for decades. And he says he can't do that. I says, I know. He says he can't do that. He said he could homogenize that to where it is so mixed up. But he said, guess what? They're different powders. They're going to settle out. They're going to sit there and settle out. I said, that is what I said. He said, yeah, he can't do that. And even if it didn't settle out, he's now changed the chemical burn rate time. It doesn't matter how much pistol powder you put in rifle powder or vice versa. He just changed the characteristics of the burn time. And he said, burn time's a real killer when you get it wrong. He said, we've proven it. We've proven it in labs. So I texted this guy this, right? And 2 days later, he said, I couldn't do it. He says, I could not load with that powder. I had to dump it. It killed him, right? 8 pounds of rifle powder. So what would we learn? We learned that numbers never lie. I've done 4 cases. Okay. If you want, do 10 cases. Do 10 cases and measure every one of them. So 10 out of 10 cases that you sized all passed your case gauge. So now the odds are out of 100, they're all going to go, right? So the numbers don't lie. And then we set a procedure up to where when we batch load, we charge all the cases, and we verify powder is the same in all of those cases, right? before we seat the bullet. So every one of those cases got a charge, there were no squibs, and there were no double charges. And when you inspected them, it was focused and you looked at each one. You didn't just go real quick, you took your time and you systematically made sure every case had the same charge. Okay? And then you proceeded from there. Okay? On your progressive machine, you know that how you set that up, you know how you run your powder cop, which you know how you visually look at each one, right? But how do you know when you're done with the progressive setup that you charged every case for a rifle? On my progressive machines, I don't run compressed loads. I run a load to where, like on my 223 Remington, I run 26 grains of tack. That performs well in all of my AR-15, right? I just use it for my steel targets, and it's very accurate, out to 300-400 yards, like I like. That's all I go with my AR-15. I mostly go 100-yard shots. That's what I do with my AR-15, right? So for my progressive setups, my machines, the novel thing about the 26 grains of tack is when I'm done, I can shake it and I can feel the shifting of the powder. So think about that. Your progressive press, everyone says, oh, you got to have a powder cop. No, you don't. No, you don't. You have a good eye and shake the cases when you're done. Because I'll tell you something, as long as you keep your powder measure full on a progressive setup, and when you pour the powder, you don't rip part of a seal into there to block the powder. If you have your progressive setup right, the powder is always going to charge that case. Every time you're going to charge a case. And every time you pull that handle, it's going to index, right? That's a progressive. We're not talking manual. So every time that's going to move, right? One charge, bam, you hit it. And if you can feel it in there, you know you've got it, right? So I always do things in a way that I can verify through numbers and my procedures are correct, okay? If you set a die up and you ruin a case, it's okay. Who cares, right? Recycle it and keep trucking and chalk it up as learning. So the next die I'm going to set up is going to be my cup of coffee die, because my coffee is really good today. Now one of these is a seat die. Man, these things, you know what these are like? Oh, I'm sorry. Expander die. This is like looking at jewelry for women in a jewelry shop. That's my cramp. Oh yeah, that's going to be. This is a interesting. This is the expander die. It's the M die, and it's pretty cool. We got 21 on. Holy smokes! Good morning, 21. All right, so this is one that you really should also clean. I'm not going to worry about it. Guys, I'm going to drink my coffee here. So I'm going to show you this. So had a guy, he asked me a question. He bought some cases, and the mouths were expanded on them. And he said, I don't know what's wrong with these and what I've got to do. When you start getting into cases smaller than 223, Sometimes you'll have they'll expand the mouth out on them a little bit. They do that because the bullets are so small. And John Williams 40. Um, so if you see that, if you see a case that's smaller than like 223 and there's a little mouth expansion going on, that's normal. Okay, that's a case that's already ready to go. Um, but anyway, um, so this is the neck expander die, and you're going to see that it's rounded on the end. That's for smooth insertion and to insert it on the case. Now, at this point, um, hopefully you fully prepped your case. These are fully prepped. Okay. Um, and if you've trimmed, do a good job of chamfer and deburr. Okay. So this case is these are super pristine cases. These are range cases, but they're just ready to go. And I'll be loading those probably tomorrow. So we have this end then that makes it for ease of insertion, okay, along with your chamfer and deburr. Now, this case, if you resized it and you didn't have to trim it, you don't have to chamfer it, right? So now what happens is this is from here to here is going to set our neck tension, okay? I don't know if that's going to really focus in. So you see this little step right there? We can go up to that point, but then if you want, that's not focusing in real well, but you'll see it. There's a step, and then you see the expander. You see that? There's a step, and then an expander. What that step does is that allows you to put a step in it so your bullet, when you set the bullet, your bullet will actually be concentric to that case. It'll be just perfectly aligned. I think you're seeing that. Okay. So once again, from here to here, we're setting neck tension. Once you go past that, that's your built-in step, and then that part is the expander. Now, for our 223 Remington, we don't need those. If you want those, you can use those primarily, from my opinion, my understanding, that's for a cast bullet. Cast bullet's going to be oversized, so you could use that. Okay. I know we have guys that do cast bullets for all sorts of rifle calibers, but for me, for 223 Remington, I wouldn't run cast because you're probably going to have to be most definitely uh, scrubbing your bore. Okay. Some guys might have it down to where they don't. I don't know, but okay. So just so you know, okay, never mind. I won't go there. Okay, so we're gonna set this up. Run our shell holder all the way up, and I think this is how this is going to be set up. Um, we're gonna run this die body all the way down. Until we make contact. And now I'm just going to put a little cam over into it. And one of the things the cam over is going to do is going to get everything aligned. Okay. So I'm going to tighten that lock ring, and now what I'm going to do is I do want to a little lube on the inside of that case, because we'll be setting the neck tension. Okay. Now I'll run it up there like that. And now what you want to do at this point, we want to take a measurement. Okay. Point zero. My eyes are getting old. 244. 244. Okay. Dang. Moved it like 3/4 of a thousandths. That's all. It is very precise. Very precise. So I'm just running this down, but I'm not going to put that step into it or the flare, only because we don't need it. Okay. If you're loading with there's one correction. If you're loading with a flat base bullet, you could put the step in it if you wanted. You could even put a little flare, and you're not incorrect. But the Bob's bullets I'm using, it's a boat tail. So I don't need a step, and I don't need to put any flare on it. Okay, don't step or flare if you don't need. You're only working your case more. If you do it, are you wrong? No, you're not wrong. It's just you might not get as many loadings out of that case. Okay, so there we go. So I've just ran it down enough that I'm only setting neck tension and nothing else. Wax Factory. Buddy, you're so awesome. Oh, I'm really sorry I pissed you off dropping my Dylan, primer cup. I'm really sorry. No, you cracked me up on that. You really did. So, okay. So I'm going to run the case back up there. I'm going to tighten the lock ring. Hopefully, you've got a wrench with you or something you can tighten that with. So we've got that. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to seat the bullets. Okay, that's my crimp. Okay. And this is nice. Okay, I gotta remember how to do this. I think I run it up to 5. I can't remember. It's coming to me. I can't remember. Oh, I remember now. You like that little caffeine? Okay. I ran it up just above 5. I think, okay, I will be right back. I gotta look at something. I know what I'm gonna seat that to, but I do not trust my memory on my seat depth. Um, yeah, 2.250. Okay, so I'm going to seat these to 2.250. So what I'm going to do, if I remember right, I run it all the way up. I'm going to run this die all the way down. And oh, now we're going to put a little cam over in it, but do it to where you can see the micrometer readings. The light's really bad. You guys can't see it, but I can kind of see a glimpse of it. And actually, I'm going to turn it back to where I can see it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the case in there, and now, oh yeah, a little bit of Bob's bullets. You want some bullets? Oh, Bob's got the bullets. Oh yeah, that's a very dull knife too. Ooh. Okay, so now we got rid of that scumbag, and I'm gonna take one bullet. This is a mighty fine bullet by Bob's Bullets. Later today, when I get set up for my live stream tonight, I'll be using this bullet. I will be putting the links in the description box, but go to bobsbullets.com. I'm telling you, his prices are right. You can order in bulk. So, okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just run this up, and I'm going to see where I'm at. I have no idea where I'm at. Nice. 2.250. Well, let's just, I have no idea how this is going to play out. I'm crushing the neck, the shoulder. I've never done that on a 223 Remington, and I could feel it. So I ruined the bullet. The bullet's ruined. The base is messed up. So now, at this point, what do we do? This is why live streams are so great. Because if something goes smooth for me, but then you experience a problem, you're like, well, what do I do? So now we've just had something happen where I go to seat this bullet and I'm buckling the shoulder. What's wrong? Well, I think now what we need to do is we need to back up. First off, whenever you're buckling a case, first off, lube. Okay? I'm going to run that expander stem a little more. I'm not really looking to put a step on that. Yet. I'm just wondering if I need to run more of my mandrel through there, you know. Okay. Let's see if I can see the bullet without. Now, one thing I want to do, make verification of the actual diameter of our bullet. I'm a .224, so that's correct. So we don't have an issue with our bullet. Macman 39 reloading. All right, let's see what happens. So there, my bullet's cradled in there, really nice. And what do? I buckled another case. Okay, that's all right. Maybe we won't have a live stream tonight. Hey, we'll have a live stream, even if we're buckling cases. How's that? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this down. Now, I can feel that I am putting expansion on the mouth of that case. I think I put way too much expansion. All right. So, if I was just sitting here and I wasn't live streaming, in my mind, when I'm live streaming, I'm always conscientious of your time, so I tend to go fast. But on my bench, if it was just me, I would be sneaking up on this. I wouldn't turn it so fast to way overexpand. So I want you to understand that. Okay. So I'm going to back this off, and I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to take a measurement here, and I just want to sneak up on this mouth expansion. For whatever reason, I'm buckling the cases. It's not the cases. It's something with the dies. So what I'm doing is I'm turning that stem for the expander like an eighth at a time, maybe not even that. So now I have a little bit of expansion. Just so you know, I have expanded this thirteen thousandths. Okay, that's where I'm at on that, 13 thousandths. So now I'm going to take and ruin another one of Bob's bullets. He's going to be pissed. Okay. And I have officially buckled another case. So what I can do is just for fun, because it's always fun ruining bullets and cases, I'm going to seat a bullet into this case that's overexpanded. and I buckled the case. So what do we do? What do we do? Where's the problem? Oh boy. Well, what do we do? What would you do? Yeah, that will probably no. Hang on. All right, here we go. More coffee. All right. So now, all right. I will be your host today. I am the headless reloader. Okay, here we go. What's wrong? Sometimes like 30-30 Winchester is a really good example. It already has a weak shoulder on it. Sometimes on that, you find yourself kind of crushing the shoulder back on it. It's probably because the neck's too tight. You have to address that. And so there's a good possibility here that what we're doing is we need to open that neck up a little bit. So I just want to look at something here real quick. I was going to get my redding die, but I'm going to try my Lee die. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Lee die and I'm going to set it up for cam over. What I could do, we could try and seat right into one of these cases that I have 100% prepped. Those came off of my Dillon dies, okay? But I want to work off this batch of cases, okay? So now this is a steel die, make doggone sure that your case is clean. Lube the neck, lube that case. There we go. Our issue is the neck. Don't move. I'm going to come over here on my Dillon, and I'm going to resize this case. Here we go. This is what's happening. Watch my micrometer. Let me get a digital so you can see this. Okay, here's my digital. You're going to have to read it upside down, but I think you get it. Okay. Okay. You see this case? .244. Okay. .245. .245. So what's happening? Guys at thousands can make or break that cartridge case. Okay. The Lyman, it's a thousandths too small. Whenever you're seating a bullet and you're crushing a shoulder, the first thing that should come into your mind is I I have to open that up a little more. And it's just by 1,000ths, okay? And our proof of this is if we take this case once again and we try to seat a bullet, oh, wrong die, I crush the case. But when we take this one that came off the Dillon and I seat a bullet, I just buckled that case. I know why. I know why. Because I'm being a bonehead. Who knows why I'm buckling a case? And you should have just seen me fix it. All right. Let's give this a try. Oop, don't forget to lube. Reb got it. I had my crimp set up. For some reason, I thought that didn't have the crimp feature in it. That's okay. So now what I'm going to do is okay. Man, I'm just not having any luck today. What's going on here? Okay. There's my reside. Okay. Take a measurement of my neck. Let's see something here. All right. Okay. Oh, MacMan says he called it. Yeah, MacMan's good. He got this figured out. You know what? I get this die and Reading backwards. That's the second time I've done that now, and I have to quit that. So that's okay. So it's kind of like I think the good thing about this is like the one thing I never want to be on my channel is like make viewers think that like I don't make mistakes, right? That's pretty for human, right? Okay. Now I'm gonna get this right. But I told you I've never set these up. But on the next live stream I do today, man, I'm going to nail it. I'll be right on it, right? So, okay, now I'm going to try and seat this bullet. And okay. So now that I've made this mistake, I remember clearly in the instructions, this one you have to back it off. I remember that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a measurement. Okay, got about 36 thousandths to go. Let's see if I can do this. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36. Oh, hang on. So I promise you guys, I will do a much better job later today. Oh, there we go. That's sweet. So 2.250, I'm 2 thousandths under it. On the beauty behind a taper crimp is I just come in under the cantilever, 2.250, and I crimp it there. I don't go into the cantilever. So there you go. Yeah, I wish I would have seen your comment, MacMan, because I was focused on in my mind. I thought, is that sizing to the right diameter? Because I was so confident that this seat die didn't have the crimp step in it, but it does. I got to remember that. Um, that's on Monday. I set 2 different dies up, actually 3 different. When I go from brand to brand, it's like I don't always remember. But hey, I'm human, right? It's okay. And the really cool thing is, like, it's going to sound really bad. I don't mind when I'm trashing my range cases in my videos because, like today, I'm going to go to my local recycle center and I'm going to dive into a big old bin of brass. Actually, I'm going to take a shovel and literally scoop it out by the shovelfuls and start going through it. So I'll probably pick up a bunch of probably some more 223 brass, but I'm looking for 357 mag and stuff. So I'm always make sure I got range brass that I can do this with for my live stream, so that doesn't bother me. As far as my bullets, I just melt those back down, so it's no big deal. My bullets, I just don't throw those out. I remelt them for I cast them into new bullets and I can reuse them. Oh, Reb, he says, I already learned that by doing the same thing. You'd think I'll tell you how to figure that out. Is you just put a sized case in there and thread this down to the case. If I would do that default every time, then you would feel it coming into the crimping that case. So, but these are nice, super nice dies. I'm not going to go into the crimp die because I'm going to go eat breakfast. Then I'm going to go pick up leaves. I'm going to pick some leaves up for a little bit, and then after I do that, I'm going to the recycling center and looking for brass. That's what I'm doing. Now I have we're gonna watch the BSU football game today, and after that I'm gonna come out here. I'm gonna get this all ready. We're gonna have a live stream. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about my Thursday night live streams and my format, and I think you guys are going to like it. And there's going to be a chance for a lot of people to be on that live stream over time. It's going to be a completely different format. So I'm going to hope to see you guys there. So I apologize that I messed that die up, but there was good information anyway, right? When I start for a live stream, if I make a mistake, you're gonna see it, you know. Because there might be someone that when they see that, they'll go, oh, that's good to know, right? So there you go. All right, so I want everyone to type yes if you'll be on tonight, no if you won't, and I'll call you out. Yes or no? Yes. Are you going to be in the live stream tonight? Are you going to be in the comments, or no, you won't? If not, I hope you have a good night, have some fun, right? And that doesn't offend me if you can't be there. Hey, we all have family, we have life, and sometimes you just need some downtime to just, you know, mellow out. I get it. Okay. Steve W. PMAC, he's going to be there. That is exciting. John Williams 40, super exciting. Paul Merrick, super exciting. Todd, what time? Well, the game's at 2. I'm thinking no later than 6. That's what I'm hoping, okay? Rep Tyree, awesome, awesome. Del Pogue, awesome. If my son wrestling tournament is over by then. Scout 85 has a built-in bodyguard. Sweet. Knox Spector, hello all. Hey, make sure if you get a chance, Knox Spector, between 5 and 6 tonight, I'm going to light it up with another live stream. John Williams 40. Oh, shooting you. Oh, well, I hope you get a deer. I'd rather you get a deer than watch me. So that's a fact there. Okay, guys. So once again, I apologize for the hiccup, but it's always good to information. So, all right, I'm gonna go chow, pick leaves up, and then get to the recycle center. And then we got a new guy, Damon Fetty. Good to have you. Is that right? Well, you know what, buddy? I do have playlists on my channel. You can check those out. But if you go to 76highboy.com, and I'll tell you what, if you do it right now, if you go to 76highboy.com and become a member, use a fake name. Don't let no one know who you are. Okay. On my site, I don't run Google ads, so they can't dictate what we say. They don't know what we say, but don't let no one know who you are. Come onto the site and you'll see that we have a bunch of other channels that share their videos there, and you can find them. Okay, so we'd love to have you. Okay, we are out in 3, 2, 1. We'll see you guys. Hey, when I'm at the recycle center, I might try and do little short live streams. I don't know how clear they'll be. It'll be off my cell phone, but I'll try and do it so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. And I might give you guys an idea in your area to do what I'm doing so you can locate the brass. We're out.